Hello Aquarius, welcome to your January 2024 forecast. I'm Nicholas Ashbaugh. This can be used for your sun, rising, or moon sign. It's going to give you everything you need to start the new year off right, so I'd like to just start off by saying welcome. I begin all of my readings with mediumship messages. The first one, as you can see, has to do with stress management. In my dreams last night, I woke up at one point. Thankfully, it wasn't me as the main character. I was just watching someone screaming, but it woke me up, and as I sort of sat there for a few minutes thinking, like, what is this all about? I was empathetically connecting with the main character in the dream, and it felt good to scream, right? Sometimes we just think of like when you were a kid, right? Or if you watch a kid in your life, there's just something that is very therapeutic. Crying, laughing, screaming. It is an immediate way to connect with primal emotions and just get the energy out. And I think for some of us, like when we become adults, we don't have the outlet or the permission to just let it out. So finding a way for proper stress management is going to be so helpful and so healthy for you. So yes, screaming is one way to let all of that out, but so is exercise. So is a hobby, a sport, an activity, hanging out with friends, talking to a therapist. Any number of methods would work, and you just have to kind of plug into the one that works best for you. And, I cook a lot of Apollo's food in a pressure cooker. Like I'll make him fresh chicken or something like that. And you have to watch the pressure, make sure that it's released before you open up the pot. And in everyday life, our own energy can kind of get really, really intense. And we need that outlet so that it doesn't come out in a way like verbally, like the Ten of Swords, that might sort of create more problems than it solves. So we see here the primal scream in the Three of Swords. And this is a chance for you to find a way to let it out. Whatever's going on, whether it's anxiety, stress, fear, there's any number of things that I could have been picking up on. Self-care is key. And if it's not you, it might be someone around you, your partner, your friend, your child. Just kind of tune into who's going through a moment and try to be as graceful as you can and helpful as you can. And again, if it is you, then please take special care of yourself. You deserve this moment to just be kind, okay? Now let's look at the next piece that came through in dreams. This is about real-time manifestation. So I watched as someone was climbing a ladder, reaching the top faster than they thought. And to me, this is very nicely connected to Three of Wands because it's giving you a chance to see the world from a different perspective. On the Three of Wands, this person is standing up at a cliff and they can see out in the distance all these ships coming in. So one thing that you might want to do this month is to give yourself time, space, or activities that allow you to get that perspective and see how far you've come and also what's coming through. The message here from Spirit is it's a good time to reach for your goals because they're happening or they will happen faster than you think. Okay, and that last bullet is key. Open up to the reality that things can happen right now, here in real time. Okay, part of it is just saying, I believe, and then starting to allow yourself to see it. The last piece was about chemistry, and we're talking now not about scientific chemistry, but more about how you feel between yourself and another person. And Spirit was very clear on this. You either feel it or you don't. I was watching a scene of unrequited love or appreciation where one party really felt the connection, the other one didn't. It's a little difficult from both perspectives because you don't want to disappoint someone if you're not feeling it. And if you're on the other end and you can tell someone isn't into you or doesn't appreciate you, then it's sort of like, why are you wasting your time? And that's the main thing here. Better to speak up and don't fake it if you don't feel it. Now, the flip side of this is also true. If you feel a genuine connection and it's mutual, that's something to embrace because it doesn't happen all the time. But based on what I'm seeing this month, it can happen, especially with the Three of Wands here. So self-care, real-time manifestation, and then allowing yourself to honor your emotions. You feel it or you don't, and then you're going to do something with that authentic sort of epiphany. All right, let's change gears now, shuffle the cards and see what's coming through. I forgot to mention it just a moment ago, but I will also be pulling a bonus card for 2024, so do stick around until the end to see that as well. All right, let me focus on shuffling and seeing what January is all about. All right, let's get started with your catalyst card, the bouquet. So as always, the catalyst helps us spark change, action, or movement and stay on track. This is really about taking a moment to smell the flowers. And what does that mean? Slowing down, being present. Why is this important? Because one of the messages was the Three of Wands. And if I pull that up here for a moment, you only see the ships coming in if you take a moment to glance at the horizon. So this is really about slowing down and looking at what's already around you so that that final bullet, opening up to the reality that things can happen right here and right now, can happen. If you're too much focused on one thing, kind of have like the horse blinders on, you could miss an opportunity. If you also are very rigid in expectations, like if you're looking for love, if a person can only be, certain height, certain job, certain age, whatever, you may miss out on someone that is ideal, but slightly out of those parameters. Same thing for a job, same thing for a home. Be open to be flexible. And also, this is really helpful in manifesting and looking around as well. Maybe something will surpass your expectations. It'll be outside of what you thought was possible. So this is basically opening your mind and looking at the beauty that surrounds you and also saying, yes, thank you. Because that bouquet is coming inward toward you. And one of the things that's necessary, we did this actually on the last weekend collective that I did, was to open yourself up to receive. So you can always listen to that, and I might link it in the description below or put it in one of the featured videos here. But that's really important in getting out of your own way, because sometimes everything's aligned, but things like disbelief, being busy, being closed off, it could hold you back from basically capitalizing or connecting with an opportunity that is right here, right now. That's a beautiful first message because it means that things can be easier if you want them to. Let's just kind of drink in the energy of the spread really quickly, and then we'll take a look at each and every card. What do I like about it? So far, we're not seeing any sort of really difficult cards in front of us. I don't see the Tower, the Ten of Swords, the Devil, or things of that nature. In fact, I see really good stuff. I see that you're connecting to your purpose. I see friendship. I see opportunity. I see growth. It's all pretty good, folks. Maybe feeling a little burdened or a little stressed, but that we can manage. So let's do card by card, starting with your centermost card, the Nine of Wands. All right, so I don't need to reference the original Rider-Waite-Smith card because they did a good job in this one. We just see a different area where you're feeling a little bit worn out. Typically, Nine of Wands is a card where anything is possible, but there is a cost, an opportunity cost, a physical cost, an emotional cost. They illustrated it in this deck by putting a sling around his arm. He could have stressed himself out to the max physically, and now he has like a sprained arm or broken bone or something, and this is like taking care of yourself. So figuratively speaking, it really is the exhaustion or the stress where I saw the screaming in my dream that is coming to the forefront. The traditional Nine of Wands puts it more around the head, usually a bandage there, and that makes sense because what happens sometimes is there can be a stress headache, there can be persistent thoughts, sometimes even our own tape that we play in our head, like this isn't going to happen, I can't do this, all of those sorts of things. So be mindful of that, let those critical thoughts go, be mindful of your limits and push back when things are just too much. With both the 7, 9, and I would even say, let's add into it the 10 of Wands, you're going to get to the finish line. It's just a matter of making sure that you have enough to kind of celebrate on the other side. So don't extinguish the battery. All right. That being said, nobody stands in the way of the Nine of Wands. So if you put your mind to something this month, you've got it. Just practice self-care and reach out for help if you need it. And just because, kind of like revisit this bouquet, if someone offers assistance, definitely lean into that, especially if you feel good about the person that's offering it. This could also be an offering of love. I mentioned that I saw that you either feel the connection or you don't. That's one thing I want to just underline one more time. Crossing the Nine of Wands, we have the Eight of Swords. Simply put, open yourself up to the possibilities. We can see a person here with closed eyes. It's almost as if they have blinders on, and they're very specifically looking for something to show up in one way or another. And like I said earlier, they'll miss it if they are so specific that they can't imagine an alternative. If you feel trapped, if you feel like things aren't adding up, this is basically saying get the perspective that we talked about in channeled messages. Allow yourself to take a day off, talk to someone. maybe even like logistically look at it from a different vista. And that's going to help you see that there is other ways that you can do this, or there are other ways. This is also about not ignoring things. With both 8 and 2 of Swords, sometimes we sweep things beneath the rug. So if there's something that needs to be dealt with, deal with it in real time. And that's basically everything we need to see here. Now, there is a correlation between the deep past and this card. In the deep past, we have the star and it's reversed. And what's happening here is sometimes we're afraid of being seen or judged. The cool thing with star energy is whenever it shows up in a spread, it typically indicates that you've done the work, especially with where it showed up here. This is basically where your soul has been learning and growing and developing. So if you're coming through with star energy, it means that many of you know either what you want or don't want, and now it's just a matter of taking that path and basically looking at that dream or that epiphany straight in the eye and saying, what are we going to do about it? Some of you may also be muting your light because you're afraid of judgment, you're afraid of success, you might be afraid of outshining someone around you. But invariably, the star card also indicates that like energy attracts like energy. So if you're doing really, really well, you're naturally going to connect with other people who have done that work and are comfortable with your success. We should never diminish our light simply because it makes someone else uncomfortable. That's not a true friend or partner if they can't celebrate where you're at, okay? And that's really what I get there. By the way, this is closely connected with Aquarius, so I like that you're showing up as yourself. Go even fuller into your personality, your energy, so that you can truly make a splash this month. All right, let's look at the recent past. We have the beautiful 4 of Wands, which represents partnership and also really firm foundations. So this is a promise of what's possible. We don't yet see the partner in there. By the way, this can be friend, business, or love. It doesn't have to just be love. But basically what you're doing is kindling the fire, creating the set, the space, and holding the space, and continuing to do the work on you. Because as you raise your frequency and kind of sit in this new version of yourself, someone else will resonate with that and come in. So what I see in the first couple weeks of the new year is the ability to draw in new friends, new partnerships, new alliances, and yes, new love. It's all really looking good here. And you're in your stride here. It makes sense. Many of you are celebrating birthdays over the next few weeks. So this is your time and you're going to shine. So get ready to shine. And if you're trying to do things like, launch a new business, find a new job, or just put something out into the world, the star followed by the 4 of Wands is pretty darn good. All right, let's take a look at your crowning card and see how this all comes together. We have the Ace of Swords here. Some of you have a very clear idea of what you want to do next. This is potential energy that needs to be tapped into. So, I mentioned that I saw someone climbing or reaching up on a ladder. We see someone here coming from the water, reaching up towards the sky. So this is your chance to push yourself a little bit. It looks like you're poised for success. Don't be afraid to speak up, to follow through on your dreams and ambitions. It's a good month for all of that. Ace of Swords. It can be signing a contract, having an important meeting. Someone could have some good news that they want to share with you. No matter how you look at this, it's a really positive energy. Focusing your intentions on one thing in particular would be very helpful this month because this is in the crowning position. And I typically read that as where you want to focus your mind. All right, what are some of the challenges? We do have 2 cards here that can constitute that, possibly a 3 if I reach a bit. But the first one is a shift in perspective, and it looks like you're already starting to do that. So we have the 5 of Cups here. In the 5 of Cups, there are always a few that are spilled, but there's also a couple that are upright. And we can see a couple of fish here in the background, and again, those 2 cups. This could be partnership, this could be friendship. You might have lost someone or something in your life, but there's an upgrade coming through. And you'll have context and appreciation now to really embrace this new opportunity that's kind of knocking on the door. Piscean energy very much featured here. So this could be a chance to connect with a water sign, particularly Pisces. And this could also be a partner that brings out the best in you. I talked before about maybe someone or even a group of people that couldn't embrace the star. It feels like you're calling in someone who can if that person falls out of view, okay? Or if that group of people fall out of view. This is time for an upgrade. We have a bouquet and we have an ace of swords, and they're both very much offerings. So I like what January is offering you. It looks like a really good year so far. Bountiful, fruitful. Let's see what's coming through signifying you. We have the beautifully illustrated Ten of Wands here, very auspicious card. This represents something coming to a close, something coming to fruition, a goal accomplished. As you would see in the Rider-Waite-Smith traditional illustrations, sometimes there's a feeling of fatigue that sets in. And just as with the Nine of Wands, you're so close to the finish line. You're even closer on this one. It's saying don't give up now. If you need help, lean on someone. If there's too much, delegate a little bit. But no matter what, don't lose track with what it is that you've worked so hard to accomplish. You're there. It's happening. And this card is also reminding you to take time to celebrate, to smell the flowers, to really tune into your own sort of hard work, power, and strength that led you to this moment in time, okay? Ten of Wands is also a caution. For those of you that do heavy lifting, might be moving or traveling a lot, sometimes this can wreak havoc on the back. So we want to pay attention to that and get assistance if necessary. It can also be an emotional burden. And as I mentioned earlier, you really need to have like a pressure valve to let go of some of that, a way to, whether it's through some sort of extracurricular, through therapy, through just talking it out. Allow yourself to get rid of that energy so it doesn't go from the Ten of Wands to the Ten of Swords or the Three of Swords to the Ten of Swords. We want to kind of keep a nice, productive flow coming through here in this month. And so yes, self-care, if I had to underline this one more time, is super important. All right, ultimately this is good. You could be traveling for work, you could be moving, and there also might be an advantage to seeing someone or something in person. It doesn't always represent a permanent move. It can sometimes just be spending some time somewhere else to get things done. But I really like what this represents. You are on the path to success, and that immediacy that I was picking up on is definitely encaptured in this card. Let's look at your environment. I love it. We have the Eight of Pentacles. You know, in the upright position, it is a card that basically shows you're going to get a return on whatever it is that you're doing. Apprenticeship, learning, expansion of knowledge, all of those things are part of this. With the reversal, you may be returning to something that you kind of put on the shelf and never finished, whether it's a project or even a degree. This could also be something that you hadn't given yourself permission to do before, and it's a little outside of your comfort zone. Still totally worth the energy. This is also revisionary, so when it's reversed, you might be deciding to go back and add a chapter, or if it's renovation, you're like, you know what, we forgot about this, let's upgrade this. So a little bit of revision, a little bit of pushing, a little bit of work, totally worth it. This is one of the cards in tarot that shows a return. Look at the fine print. If you are signing on the dotted line anywhere, there's a chance to sweeten the deal or take out something that doesn't quite sort of gel with your expectations. Okay, let's move on to hopes, fears, and opportunities. This is one of the other cards that could trip you up a little bit. So the card was reversed. It's the Seven of Pentacles, and just generally speaking, it does show growth. Slow, steady growth, often after a period of time where you were kind of stretched too thin. So emotionally or financially, you could have come through a difficult time. That's why we see a sort of wintry scene here, and there's some new growth here. They're not taking too much. So the main thing here is knowing just how much your limits are, what's realistic, and how far you can stretch. Because we also have the Ten of Wands, you don't want to take on too much of a burden. So easy does it. That's the main message here. Don't overpromise in something. Be realistic. And if you see that there is something that's lacking, we talked about a revision here. You can say, I think we're short X amount on a contract, or I can commit to this, but not this unless I get some help. And that's it. Really easy to manage here. It also is a reminder that in order for things to come back after a winter, you need a couple of months, 2 or 3 months. I would buffer big projects and even just goals by a couple extra weeks or extra months to give yourself the time that you need to grow. After winter comes spring, and spring even in and of itself takes a little bit of time for everything to push through, right? The ground, and for buds to appear on the trees and all of that. So remember to take your time, don't overdo it, you should be fine. In the outcome, we have the Queen of Wands, and when we're looking at the court cards in the minor arcana, she's like the penultimate boss, which we love, second to the highest card ranking there. I would even say on some levels, she's the boss. She would say that as well if she could speak. The card is reversed though, so there are a few things to be mindful of. If you really need to push and get something through a difficult moment in time, she can get it done. And when reversed, she's not going to take no for an answer. So if there's something that really, really matters to you, a reverse Queen of Wands comes through to say it's okay in this moment to be a little bit pushy, right? This is also a card where you're going to land on your feet. Normally it's a black cat, but we have like a tabby or just a regular domesticated cat here. But ultimately it represents the ability to trust your instincts, land on your feet, and cats have 9 lives, figuratively speaking. So even if you've had some challenges, this time it will work. So hold firm on what matters most. Now, all of that being said, there is always an opportunity with the Queen of Wands to listen and to be a little bit more open-minded. These things will serve you well in this moment. Even when you're standing up for something that you care about, when it comes to the final negotiation table, there's typically always a degree of compromise. And even if you're going to get your way in a negotiation, you have to empathize with the other party and put a good case together and say, I understand why you want this and I understand why this is going on, but hear me out. This is why we should do this. You have to go through seeing it from their perspective and letting them know, or letting them speak a little bit and then coming back and countering it. So that's where the challenge will exist for you. But as an air sign, you have really great speaking and listening skills. So just lean into that and you'll be set up for a successful new year. All right, let's go ahead now and expand this forecast to get some additional insight into the areas of health, wealth, love, and destiny. And we're going to start, as always, with your mind, body, and spirit. We already had some messages at the very beginning about not going too far like we saw here, or not carrying too much of a burden. But let's go ahead and see what the Oracle card has to say here. So it's expansion. And I talked about the Eight of Pentacles being a card of expansion. So if you're ready, this card is saying this is the perfect time to go for it, to go back to school, to take on a new challenge, to reach a little bit. This is also, when I think of expansion, it's stretching, kind of like the universe. So we can abstract this a bit. And I would say one thing that you could focus on, and almost everybody benefits from this. It doesn't matter what level of physical fitness you have or what age you are, but make sure that you are stretching and activating your muscles before you get started in any physical fitness routine. Standard disclaimers apply. You're going to want to lean on your health professional, but I feel like that's just good advice in general. Other expansion here. This could be learning new things about how your body works, what your family history is, expanding knowledge, because we could take that with the Eight of Pentacles, and this is definitely learning. So learn more about whatever you need to be healthier, and that's that. Let's go ahead now and just look at the general health messages that are coming through in the cards. Again, reminding you that I'm going to look for energetic, either stress points or opportunity points that the cards point to. So you'll notice that the blindfolds go around the eyes and the ears. So when it comes to general health messages, make sure that your hearing and seeing is where it needs to be, and you can get a test if you're not feeling comfortable with that. This is also making sure that no rock is left unturned when it comes to just your general health and well-being. So if there's something you've been ignoring for a while, get some advice on that. If you've been putting something off, it's time to address it. And that's pretty much everything with that. I talked about this before. This particular card features the arm as a point of potentially having injury or sensitivity. Typically, it would be the head space. Since we have this card, I would say a little bit of both. If you're overdoing it, we have 3 areas. The back, possibly for some of you, this could be repetitive injury from typing, and then the head, which can also just be stress in general. Okay, let's see what else we've got here. I think those are the main messages overall. The Seven of Pentacles is a reminder that if you do have some sort of an injury, don't rush too quickly into strenuous activities. You really want to give yourself time. And I think that's everything for health. So let's move on to wealth. We have the light. I love this because this is basically nicely connecting to the star, 2 of the brightest cards that I could pull, both of them in the reverse state. So this is saying be the voice of wisdom, be the insight, shine a light on something. This is your time to step into the spotlight. Basically, this is an elevation card for you, okay? A different version. I mean, she's embracing the star. So the star and the sun are just two different stars with two different names. This could also be a partner coming in for you. I mentioned that this doesn't have to just be love. We'll be looking at love in just a moment, but it can also be partnerships. So because I just mentioned these are two very bright stars, this is just the one that's closest to us, the sun here. You could be bringing in someone that is very much connected to you. Now, if you can turn your star upright, then they can turn their sun upright, and then the two of you can really support each other. Otherwise, you might bring in someone that tests your fears. And this is why we don't want to dim the light. We want to be bright. We want to have integrity. We want to have confidence. We want to be fair. We want to be empathetic. Have all of those bright qualities so that you can pull in people that do the same. When you start to fear your worth or your power or whatever, then people will come in and they sense that and they test it. So let's bring in true partners. We don't need teachers. This is true of both business and love. We just want someone that can celebrate and kind of rise up with us. All right, what else is coming through? And I know that's kind of interesting to come through for wealth, but that's what I picked up on. I feel like it's time to slowly rebuild. So we have the Seven of Pentacles here. If there were any setbacks, which can be indicated with the Five of Cups, you're going to seek out better partnerships, which we see coming through here. You're going to learn a lot, read up, train yourself, and then you're going to allow for proper and ample time to bounce back, to grow. And this can even be like if you're building something new, a new business or investments or whatever, you just don't want to take the shortcut. It very rarely works in business. When you do a shortcut, it usually costs more in the long run. And this is just underlining that. And we have, like I said, boss energy and a lot of visibility and communication energy coming through. All right, as always, let's take a moment to really focus on three different areas: those that are working, looking for work, or retired, beginning with those that are employed. Here's what I see. For some of you, there is this moment of wondering, when will it be my day? When will my moment come? It feels pretty close for many of you because you've done the work, and really the question is, have you also articulated what your goal or intention is wherever you're at? So if you're in a company and you want to step up to the boss energy, so some sort of raise or promotion, have you talked about that with your immediate supervisor? Get it in writing. A handshake or verbal agreement is not enough. Bake it into your annual review or your quarterly reviews and make sure that you keep track and that you are tracking properly toward that goal throughout the year. It feels like it's within reach, and for those that want to make it happen, it should happen within this year. And if it doesn't, then this can be a card of, packing your bags and going elsewhere. But I actually feel it's possible because everything is pointing in that direction. We have this, which is you getting some sort of kudo or a positive sort of, affirmation, whether it is already like a small raise or just a really good rating or something like that. We have people that value you, and that's one of the most important things in business and life in general. There's been some setbacks, there's been some challenges. Maybe you were overlooked in this past sort of round of discussions, but speak up and get it in writing. That's the main advice here. If you want to get out, let's say you've waited long enough, it may involve a move. That's what I'm seeing. And you may want to expand your search a little bit. And I do see that you have a really good shot of accomplishing this. The main thing here is believing in yourself, not selling yourself short, not having any lack of confidence, because that's going to be important and they'll sense that, okay? So be the light that you are. Moving the sort of lens towards those who are job seeking in particular. Some of you are just tired of it. I get it. It takes a while. I think one of the things that you should be working on, independent of looking for a job, is professional networking. So the Four of Wands can be joining some sort of a professional group that's associated with your particular job or desired job. It's also making sure that you're going to conventions, seminars, and places where you can meet like-minded individuals. It's also just making time to spend with people that you love and maybe talking to them about what you're looking for. They may know someone who knows someone. So this is using your existing network as well. It does look positive here. Like I said, this can be an offer. The thing that's coming through is it may be shy a little bit of expectations when it comes to just compensation. But I do think that there may be It may be titled without the compensation you were looking for, or there's an ability to grow in this role, and you'll have to weigh those sort of options. But I do see something. A little bit of traveling or commuting, or possibly a move. Slight sort of challenge when it comes to the number that you're looking for. This is maybe 10% less than what you had in mind, but I like the title, or I like the potential for growth. For those of you that are retired right now, this is always associated with traveling, but the main card for you is actually learning. And that may surprise you. You're like, Nicholas, I just want to relax. There could be something that you just really like. We're watching someone here making something. This could be like learning how to become a potter, learning how to draw, maybe taking a class in writing. It doesn't matter, because this isn't going to be applied to a job unless you want it to. It's more just, when we look at the energy of wealth, it's also life purpose and what makes you feel valuable. So this is a chance for you to do something just because. Learning a new language, anything you really want to kind of imagine for the Eight of Pentacles when it comes to expansion, that's what it's about. And that's where I see the energy this month. By the way, you may not be looking for love or a job, but you might also find this really cool partnership coming through, as we see here with the Four of Wands. All right, let's change the lens now and take a look at love. This can be your romantic relationships or just your general relationships with the people you care about the most. We have move your body. So for some of you, this can represent moving in with someone. So if it's a relationship where you're taking it to the next level, it could be that kind of move. This could also be a chance for you to move out or just basically deal with distance. Let's look at the card itself, though. It says, thank you, angels, for motivating me to move my body and energy. You may also be dealing with someone who either is themselves a little bit lethargic or kind of dampens your mood. This can often happen for those of you that might be caretaking or dealing with someone who just requires a lot. So the movement here is a way for Spirit to help you kind of like recharge your battery. So having some space to grow, to move, and to basically stretch a little bit, as we've been talking about throughout this reading, is going to be really, really important. This is also a reminder that it's you and you alone that makes that decision to move from one thing to the next. So this is really saying, let's get things moving in the relationship sort of arena. So without any further delay, let's look at the cards and see where things are going, okay? As always, we're going to begin with existing partnerships. Then we'll look at those that are looking for love, or those that are not looking for love. They're single and happy. All right, if you're in an existing relationship, here's what I see. So the Eight of Swords can be this feeling of not being seen, and part of this has to do with maybe a long distance component, or you haven't seen someone in a while. So bridging the distance and making some time for each other is going to be vital. Hardworking energy, without a doubt, coming through with the 9 and the 10 of Wands. I would say both partners seem to be doing a lot of work. The main thing here is to make sure that that same work is going into the relationship, not just sort of like in extracurriculars and other things. It feels like there's a deep soul connection here. Whenever you get the Judgment card or the Star, it's either past life or there's like stars in your eyes. And we got a couple of stars coming through here. So I really like the connection. If it's there, it's there. And like I said, that's a rare thing and it's something to celebrate. Friendship is also in this relationship. And these are the things to lean into. That undeniable connection and that you have each other's back. That's what we want, chemistry and friendship. It's the core in any sort of successful relationship. If you can talk it through, you're fine. Here's what's challenging many of you. It feels like there could be some disappointment that's sometimes even out of your control. This can be disappointment in career, could be a health setback, could be something that you just couldn't get a handle on. And so this is where the two of you have each other's backs. There could be some stress over finances because of the 8 and the 7 of Pentacles. You're making progress rather in that area, but it is still work that has to be done. The one thing we want to avoid in all sort of types of relationships is feeling like you have to nag the partner, feeling like they're your parent, getting out of that paternal-maternal energy, or having to prove that you're right, or anything like that. You are partners, not parents. I mean, you can be parents together, but like of one another, it's really more like friends and lovers. We want to lean into that rather than bossing or parenting your partner around, if that makes sense. All right, those are the main pressure points there. The good news here is it feels like you have the capacity to make progress. Don't rush it. Healing takes time. Building something that matters takes time, but it looks like you have the core building blocks to do so. If you are seeking out love this month, it's not going to be immediately obvious to you. You also may have this feeling like, Nicholas, I've been waiting forever and a day and I haven't seen it. I get that. But we need to change the sort of outlook, because as we can see really nicely illustrated in this card, you can either focus on what wasn't or what is, and what is happening right now and trying to get your attention too. So when you start to think not only is it possible, but it is happening, then you may get that sort of invitation or offer or someone asking you out. Or you may decide to be bold and do the asking, which is cool as well. A place where you could meet people might be like work or school, because the Eight of Pentacles has to do with you kind of having, your mind and energy occupied somewhere else. I will remind you, as we said earlier with the bouquet, it's important to take time to smell the flowers and to look around and be present. Then and only then will you notice what's coming through here, okay? And let me see, we do have a fire sign coming through as the outcome. I also got Piscean energy in this particular card, so a Pisces or a fire sign that wants to be seen. And again, it could come as a little bit of a surprise, because some of you may have written this off. This is why I think it's really important not to say or think things like, it's never going to happen to me, whatever that might be. Just allow the universe to show you that when you're ready and when the partnership opportunity is also ready. I think that's pretty much everything. The only other thing that I'm picking up on here, again, it could be a long distance component. So there may be someone that you meet that is temporarily, sort of living or working in your vicinity, but may not be permanently there. So you might have to navigate a sort of long distance relationship here, and that's something to be mindful of. Otherwise, they could just be from a different part of the world than you are, and that brings with it its own blessings and challenges. So just be aware of that. For those that are happily single, not looking for a relationship, you still have great capacity this month to pull in really nice partnerships, to meet new people that could also help you in areas of growth. Like you could learn, this is a great time for mentorship or to be a mentee, to learn from someone. It's a great time to learn more about your finances, to get on top of that. Personal growth by far is coming through really loud and clear. Let's move on now to the final category that I like to look at in the expanded forecast. This is destiny. And I think this is the most important message so far. It says self-acceptance. You have to love who you are. You have to appreciate and approach your life with kindness. This is going to empower everything else that we see here. And I think this will help you turn the star in the upright position. Whatever it is that you want to become, if someone in the past couldn't see it, all that matters right now is that you see it. And if you've been met with unnecessarily harsh sort of criticism, this card comes through so that you tune it out, you put the lens within and you think, I am the best possible version of myself that I can be. And if that isn't enough for people around me, that's on them, it's not on me. And it's so powerful here. So really focus on that. That's also going to give you the self-confidence that you need, which is also going to help you basically get more abundance, more opportunities. More people will come through and see all the worth that I can see here in the cards. And what a beautifully powerful message to receive. Let's go ahead now and take a deeper dive into sun, rising, and moon sign messages. After this, we'll pull the bonus card for 2024. So please do stick around. All right, let's put the bouquet to the side, give the cards a shuffle, see what's coming through. Sun, rising, and the moon. All right, let's begin with sun first. We have Two of Cups, partnership, love, friendship. All of these things are availing themselves to you. And this is why you continue to hold the space here that we saw with the Four of Wands. So keep doing the work, and especially for Aquarius sun, we see someone else coming into the picture to celebrate, to elevate, to be there in the journey with you. And that's a really nice thing. Remember as well that you either feel the spark or you don't, so be discerning. Don't accept something that doesn't match your expectations. And likewise, if someone can't see the value that you have, you deserve more, and you're going to hold out for that as well. But ultimately, this is a great time for love and partnership, and the Two of Cups is reminding you that you don't have to do the next chapter alone. Okay, let's move on to rising sign messages. We have Five of Pentacles in the reverse state, and this is basically you overcoming self-confidence challenges from the past. This is why this appeared in Destiny. So Five of Pentacles is usually something from the past where we were denied or not allowed to kind of like connect with a possibility. And it typically is because someone else lacked the vision, the foresight, the imagination, or even the emotional tools to say, I love and accept and celebrate who you are. So you're going to do that for yourself. Then you're going to make up for lost time. And one important thing here is that you don't have to do the chasing in the next journey. You're going to allow something or someone to come into your life, particularly when it comes to friendship and love. Hold yourself up in that higher energy, be the star, and know that you've got this. Five of Pentacles, although you can't see it in this illustration, also has to do with taking care of your feet. So make sure your foot, your ankle, the arch of your foot, all of that's being taken care of. And again, in the inclement weather months, we want to make sure that we're watching where we're walking. Financially speaking, we can read this at face value. It is about slow and steady recovery. Don't overextend yourself. Watch spending habits overall. Make sure that you're being realistic with respect to that. Okay, let's go ahead and move on to the moon sign messages. We have the Two of Wands in reverse. This is about making sure that you are giving yourself ample time to plan. And this is also nicely connected to smelling the flowers. So how far have I come? Where am I lacking progress? Who's been there with me all along, allowing me and elevating me to kind of get to this moment in time? And also not to underestimate your own part in the journey. Take time to dream, take time to plan, and believe. Believing, as I say many times, is seeing. It's not the reverse. If you can't see it in your head and your heart, you're going to have a hard time seeing it in your environment. All right, now we're going to go to the bonus card for 2024 to see what this new year is bringing in. What a lovely card for 2024. We have High Priestess energy, essentially saying, if you can dream it, you can do it. Stay focused, believe, and really, really follow your intuition. The High Priestess manifests in real time. She is so nicely connected to what I was talking about earlier. This is happening now. We already had the Two of Wands for Moon, and we have the Three of Wands as a channeled message for you. So just taking time to look around is going to be key because a lot of what you're dreaming and hoping and aspiring to bring into the world is here. So just trust in yourself. This is spiritual and religious development. So if you want to go a little bit further on whatever your definition of spirituality is, this card is underlining that. It's highly creative. So in all aspects of your life, you should be experiencing more creative control. And it is a powerful card. So it's really about believing in yourself and in your capacity. All right, now we're going to take a look at your final question. So I did my best to look at everything that the new year has to offer, including an overarching card for all of 2024. Now we're going to take a look at the cards to see if there's one more message based on a question that you have for me. So formulate your question now. Let's give the cards a shuffle and let's see what Spirit has to say. All right, for the final question today and the final card, we have the Princess of Wands coming through. This is pretty positive, folks. For those yes/no questions out there, this would be a yes. But as with any page or princess, it's basically saying follow through is required on your part. And demonstrative follow through, which means that you might need to show an example of something to get someone to understand what it is. So in business, this would be like a prototype. In a conversation, it might be pointing to a real life example. And in general, this is also saying just show that it's possible, lead the charge. There'll be plenty of time to talk about it later. So you might just make a decision and take the first step and then see what people have to say about it, because there's a boldness to this that I quite like. And that's the ultimate message from Spirit here is believe in yourself, be bold, show up, and just do it. And kind of like the Nike, logo and slogan, just do it. And Later, you'll have plenty of time to try to get people on board. If it matters anyway, their buy-in is kind of optional, right? It's more important that you feel good about this. This is a learning card as well, and it's taking an idea and bringing it to the next level. So believe in yourself, believe in your idea. As we saw in the crowning position, both your communication skills and what the universe has to offer is kind of in the right energetic vibe for you. So there's someone that's interested, there's an opportunity that is ready to meet you. And so this is a chance for you to just go for it. All right, that is everything, Aquarius, for the month of January. I hope you enjoyed this. If you did, do me a favor, make sure that you hit the subscribe button and opt into the bell icon as well and all notifications. That way you will never miss out on a future video. And I do appreciate it. It's free and it helps the channel. Likewise, if you want to make sure that you can see what's going on and you're not always on YouTube, go ahead and follow me on social media. It's always my full name on all major platforms. You can go to my website if you need confirmation of what's what. Remember, a good way to spot anybody that's an imposter is I don't offer private readings, so anyone offering one isn't me. I don't use direct messages, so you can block and report easily anybody that's doing that. Leave a comment too so I know about it and I'll make sure that I take care of it. If you want to show love and support, on any of my live streams, you can use super stickers and super chat. On any of these posted videos, you can hit the thanks button. And also you can become a member, and that's a nice sustaining way to help the channel grow and to take part in some member exclusive perks. You can click the join button below for more information on that. A reminder, I drop new videos every Monday, Thursday, and Friday, unless otherwise stated on the community tab. I do a daily card reading, and I also do a live stream every single Sunday around 9:15 a.m. So I hope you can join me on that. And that is everything. So I'm going to close with simply saying thank you for being the best part of what I do here on YouTube. Couldn't do it without you. You make it all worthwhile. Wishing you all the best. Take care.